Hello, you guys. This is Miss Richardson. This video is for the accelerated, very intelligent, very smart 7th grade math class. I hope everyone had a great weekend. We are deep into geometry at this point. So some of you will love geometry, some of you not so much. But we are deep into the content and we will take your first test next week. So let me show you a few things. I'm going to share my screen. Hopefully you guys are learning how to navigate through Canvas a little easier now. You guys are knowing how your teachers are setting up their pages. Now you can see how to figure out what you're doing each week. So this week, these are the things you're doing. So we're under Unit 1 Geometry. I'm going to unpublish as many things as I can, but if it's like an assessment, then I won't be able to unpublish it when students start taking those things or start completing them. So anyway, I just don't want y'all to get lost. I want you to always come back to this "What do I do this week" page and make sure you're doing everything that needs to be done. All right, but for this week, so I suggest that you on Monday work on circles. Now there's no formative assessment, but it's still very important because on your unit test, you will have questions over your circles. Then I suggest on Tuesday, you guys read and learn and go through all of the pages and interact with all the pages and do all the practice problems and watch all the videos on cross sections. And then you don't have multiple choice questions for this section. You have a little mini project. So we'll talk about that in just a second. On Wednesday, I suggest that you guys look at transformations, which are all of what you guys have been doing. You've been looking at translating and reflecting and rotating. So all those are transformations. So you'll be doing some combined transformations. You'll be looking again at congruency, which means same shape, same size. So when you translate, rotate, or reflect figures, the image is always congruent to the original figure. Same size, same shape, same angle measurements. And then finally, you're going to start transformations on the coordinate plane. So I suggest you do this on Friday and congruency on Thursday. Okie doke. So that'll take you through the week. All right, so let's look at Tuesday's assignment, figures and cross sections. So just like I've said before, you need to go through every single page. Don't skip anything. You're reading for understanding. You're looking at your lesson objectives. You're figuring out what I should be able to do at the end of this lesson. Keep those in mind as you go through the lesson. Watch any videos. When it gives you practice problems, do those. Here's your first video. Look at your rules. Moving on, moving on. All right, so you guys are taking your time. There's several different videos for you to watch. Do all your practice problems. I'm gonna keep saying that. There's another video. Read, read, read. All right, so now this isn't the last page this time, but it's the last of your lesson. So, and you know that because here are the lesson objectives again. You want to make sure you can do these things that it tells you that you should be able to do at this point. Double check your vocabulary, look at your summary. And this is always a great thing to bring up the lesson review guide. If you have a printer, to print those, keep them in your notebook so you can review them. So now let's go to page 8 of 8. So I'm under 3D figures and cross sections. So this is what you guys are going to do. Instead of having your multiple choice formative assessment, you're going to do a mini project. So it says you did it. You've reached the end of the lesson, are ready to show what you know. So you have two options. You're either going to do this mini project by yourself. If you choose to work by yourself, you're going to go under project option 1, or if you know someone that's also in this class, not any other, just the 7th grade math class won't have this project, but only those that are in this 7th grade accelerated class, and there are only 11 of you. But if you're friends with one of the other students that are in this class, then you too can do project option 2, and it tells you what to do with your partner. You guys can call each other on your cell phones, text each other. So once you do this project with your partner, you always have to go under the collaboration reflection and answer that question if you're working with someone. So each of these little mini projects come with a rubric, so you can see exactly how they're being graded. So let's look at option 1. It says you're going to search your home for a rectangular prism. Some examples are a cereal box, a CD case, this is dating itself, or a coffee table. Measure your prism using appropriate units such as inches, centimeters, or feet. And then you're going to do these 6 things. You're going to list the dimensions of your box. You're going to describe the shape of the cross section when it's cut parallel to the base. So if you're holding up a cereal box and you cut it parallel to its base, you're cutting it this way. So if you open that box and look at it, what do you see? What 2-dimensional figure do you see? So cross sections are always 2-dimensional shapes cut from a 3-dimensional figure. You're going to find the surface area of the box. You're going to figure out what the surface area would be if you scaled up, if it was scaled up by a factor of 10. You're going to find out the volume of the box, and then what if it was scaled down by a factor of 1/10? What would the volume be? And then you're going to submit this assignment. Make sure you put your name on it. So here's your rubric, and let me show you where you're going to go to submit. So on the next page, so you could go back to your modules and find it that way, or you can go to your next page here. And this is where you're submitting your answer. So either you have printed that paper and you've written on it and you can take a picture of it and upload it, or you can simply create a text entry. You can hit the word submit, do a text entry, and answer all the questions there. You can create a website page and you can send me the URL. You can record yourself. You can have the box and you can talk about it. You can answer all those questions, or you can upload a file. So this is where you're uploading that mini project from the 3D figures and cross sections mini projects. So all of you have to do that. So even if you are working with another person in the class, you each have to submit the same project, okay? Even if you're working with someone, both of you have to submit. All right, so that is what that little paper pencil icon symbolizes, that you're going to upload something or submit an assignment other than just like a multiple choice quiz. Okay, so everything else, so these are all rocket ships, so that just means like a multiple choice quiz or some sort of, short response. And guys, make sure, first of all, you're accelerated students, so I shouldn't have to tell you this, but just for review, make sure when you respond to short answer questions, you are using complete sentences, capitalization, and correct punctuation, okay? I know this isn't a language arts class, but you always have to write properly. Okay, so one of the other things I wanted to show you, so I'm going to go into this week. So yours, of course, is going to look different than mine because I've started this before this actual week, September 14th. So one of the things, and so of course, this is what you guys have looked at. This is where you found this video. I have given you this rule picture, okay? Because sometimes when you have to look at a picture of an image that has been transformed twice, it can be a little hard to figure out what happened. So for example, so if you have a figure and one of the corners of that figure is sitting at +2, +2, and you rotate the figure around the origin 180 degrees, well, this picture right here shows you exactly what happens to those coordinates. So if you had a point at 2, 2, and you rotated 180 degrees, the new coordinate is -2, -2. So see how those were positive and then they change signs? So even if you start a figure with 2 negative coordinates, like -2, and then you translate it, or excuse me, transform it by rotating it 180 degrees, they change signs. So the image would be at +2, +2. So I'm talking about when you transform figures on a coordinate plane. Okay, so if you have a triangle on a coordinate plane and you rotate that triangle 90 degrees clockwise, well, let's say the original triangle, one of your points was sitting at 1, 3. So if 1 is the X and 3 is the Y, this tells you what happens to those numbers. The 1 becomes the second coordinate, and it becomes the opposite sign. So this 1 jumps back here and it becomes a -1. And the 3 that was in the Y place jumps to the front and becomes the X place. So if you rotate a point 90 degrees clockwise, it's at 1, 3. When you move it, it's going to be at 3, -1. So for some of you that are, you know, it's hard to imagine in your mind turning a figure or reflecting a figure. These rules will help you if you're just looking at individual ordered pairs or coordinates. It shows you exactly what happens to those coordinates. Okay, so some of you guys, these rules are going to be able to help you, and some of them you're like, oh, that's confusing to me. I'm just going to look at the picture and I can figure out what happened to it just by looking at it. All right, so anyway, that's going to be there for those of you who need it. All right, so make sure you join me on Tuesday. We're going to Zoom Tuesday the 15th at 11 o'clock. You can go here for the link. The password is always going to be Math 7 for you guys. Or I got a new tab. Let me go to Student View. I put a new tab in all of the courses, just so you can find things a little easier. All right, let me go to Student View here. Student View, waiting. Okay, so this week isn't published yet. That's why it disappeared, but it's there. All right, so look right here. So Zoom meetings. So now you have a new tab. You can just click right there. To get to the meeting, you don't have to have the link. You can just click here to get to the meeting. And you know the password's always Math 7. So if you don't remember that it's always under the What Do I Do This Week module, now you can find it easily. You know, just make sure we've all sent out etiquette on Zoom meetings recently. So look over that. You know, we just have to be polite to each other. We have to have some rules as if we were sitting in a classroom. You know, everybody can't just speak everything off the top of their heads. I mean, I haven't had any problems with you guys, but some of the other teachers are having some issues with students on Zoom meetings. And also the way they interact with their teachers. When they message them, they're being very casual, almost like they're friends and they're texting each other. So anyway, hopefully you know what I'm talking about. You got that letter, and just going over some etiquette when you're dealing with Zoom meetings and also corresponding with your teachers. So just keep that stuff in mind. All right, so I think that's about it. So make sure you come to the meeting tomorrow. I always enjoy seeing your sweet little faces, and if you guys need me, you just reach out to me and I will get back in touch with you ASAP. Have a wonderful, wonderful week, and I'll see you at the Zoom meeting on Tuesday. Bye-bye.